Hello, Ivy here. This week's podcast is entitled The Impact of the Archwell Foundation, a series. Episode 97. Introduction. The next few podcasts of Sussex Global UK will be covering the impact of some of Meghan and Harry's work. By shining a light on partnership organisations and people they have helped in a variety of ways, and the impact that it has had and aspirations of those organisations for the future. Harry and Meghan and their team have made measurable differences in the organisations that they partner with, and together they have made a difference in the lives of those who use their services. Harry and Meghan's actions are not performative. Every task and schedule has been carefully thought out and planned with strategies and timescales and the resources required. Announcements are usually made when they are near completion. The podcast coming up over the next couple of months or so will shine a light on those out there working at community level and their hopes and plans for the future. The emergency flares that keep being sent up from the plantation behind gilded gates are for the purpose of reminding anyone who's interested that they are still alive, and they most certainly need rescuing from themselves. Their targets have escaped and are looking forward now. The people left behind are slow dancing in a burning room. This channel is focusing on those who wish to make a positive difference in the world. We are not part of a shiny hat rescue party in any shape or form. Join me on Sunday to hear about the Archwell organisations, and we look forward to reading your comments afterwards and during the following weeks to come. We thank you for your continued support, and please continue with your communications to elected officials of your choice, and any prominent high-profile individual who would be willing to speak freely about the human rights breaches in our campaign as part of a collective of people and organisations contacted by this channel. We are asking them to liaise with each other and to act as soon as it is practically possible. Our first organisation that we're looking at who have received assistance from the Foundation, and that is Genesis Women's Shelter and Support. Genesis Women's Shelter is a non-profit organisation based in Dallas, Texas, that provides comprehensive support and shelter services to women and children who have experienced domestic violence. The shelter offers emergency shelter, long-term housing, counselling, legal advocacy, and educational programs to empower survivors and help them rebuild their lives. The mission of Genesis Women's Shelter is to provide safety, shelter, and support for women and children who have experienced domestic violence, and to raise awareness regarding its cause, prevalence, and impact. Diversity, inclusion, and belonging. Genesis' core mission is to empower women and children by offering safety, shelter, and support. In that same regard, they strive to create a workplace as diverse as the communities that they serve, and where everyone feels empowered to be their full, authentic selves. With these guiding principles, they commit to inclusion across race, gender, age, religion, sexual orientation, identity, and experience, so that they listen, learn, work together, and succeed as a team. The shelter was created to give women in abusive situations a way out. They offer a range of programs and services aimed at breaking the cycle of violence and promoting healing and self-sufficiency. Their impact can be measured in terms of the number of individuals served, the success stories of survivors, and the community awareness they raise about domestic violence. The shelter states on its website, "We are looking to create a societal shift on how people think about domestic violence. In order for that to happen, we need everyone to share the same message that there is help and there is hope. It will take all facets of society going in the same direction to invoke a real change. For every woman in an abusive situation, there is help and there is hope. Any woman, any age, any race, any religion, anywhere, can be affected, but it does not define who they are." The history of the Genesis Shelter. Shelter Ministries of Dallas became aware of unique needs and vulnerabilities of abused women and children seeking their service. The need. Imagine what it would be like to live in fear every minute of your life, even while you are sleeping. Imagine having to constantly worry about the safety of your children when they're at home. Imagine if you were told every day that you weren't worth anything better and that you weren't worth helping. Imagine not knowing there was a way out. Last year alone, we saw 3,700 women and children at our emergency shelter, transitional housing apartments, and non-residential counselling office. The women who come to us are in a fight for their life. We aim to walk alongside each woman and tell her she is not alone, and she deserves to feel safe and happy. Where there is intersection, she does not die. That statement is from Jan Edgar Langbein, the CEO of the Genesis Shelter. If we truly want to end domestic violence, we need to see these women for who they are, our mothers, daughters, sisters, friends and colleagues. Domestic violence can affect anyone, regardless of age, ethnicity or socio-economic class. We will not stop until all women and children are safe in their own homes. Genesis Women's Shelter was founded with a goal to not just help women, but to completely eradicate domestic violence. We have formulated our services to address the issue holistically and to give each woman the same message: there is help and there is hope. Genesis, the podcast. Genesis, the podcast is a new way to connect with Genesis Women's Shelter and Support and expand your thinking about domestic violence and related issues that affect women. Genesis, the podcast, is also a safe place to gather resources and information if you are in an abusive relationship and need safety, shelter or support. Listen every week for fresh content related to domestic violence, to connect with world-renowned professionals, participate in exclusive events and training opportunities, and take action against domestic violence. There are more contact details on the website for the shelter and about the podcast, and all links are in the reference sources in the article and they are on some of the slides that I am using in the podcast, the video podcast. One of the slides shows you a number of dates in the calendar for this year. Some of them have already gone by, but there are others coming up in the autumn. And this is one of the ways that the shelter raises awareness and also manages to increase income. So it's about buying tickets to a variety, number of lectures that they have in various venues. And as I said, there are some coming up in the autumn. So this is just one slide, but on the website, there are far more details about each lecture and location and so on. So just to give you some information about that, there are ways that they try and raise income for the shelter, and one of those is by giving a series of lectures around their vicinity, and there are some coming up in the autumn for those of you who live in that area. There is another slide, and also, again, more details in the article about an initiative that the shelter refer to as the Backpack Drive, and it's about another form of donation where they donate monetarily or provide a backpack. And if you do that, you are helping to show these children that they deserve every opportunity to succeed in school. So it's all around a school project to make sure that children attend school with the basic resources as a minimum. Again, there's far more detail on the website, but just to let you know, that is another initiative. There are quite a few, and I haven't been able to include them all, but that's another slide that shows you about the Backpack Drive. I'd like to point out at this stage, in comparison to the next organisation I'll be talking about shortly, is that the Genesis shelter had quite a lot of information on there, but the majority of the information related to the past. There wasn't an awful lot of things coming up in the future. Now, that may be a resource issue. It may be something that hopefully this will attract interest and hopefully generate more income. I don't know. But there was far less of things coming up. And I'm sure that the issues that they deal with have not reduced in the same percentage. So just to flag that up as to why this is short, there's a lot of detail about past projects, past initiatives. I didn't repeat those purely because, one, you can see it for yourself on the website, but also it was about the past. And there was very little of things coming up. And so there are some dates of lectures coming up this year, but there was not an awful lot of anything else. That could just be to do with they have a lack of resources in terms of updating their website, or it may well be just lack of resources. They've not been able to put on a number of things. So that's the reason why this is short, but I put it first because of the nature of the people that they try to help. I am certain that that has not all disappeared and that they do actually need prominence, more sort of information about it and a higher profile. So I'm hoping that this starts that off, and maybe by people visiting their website, you all sort of make up your own mind about that. So the first organisation, as I said, lack of information in terms of current and future plans, lots of details about the past. So they've obviously been very, very busy doing a range of things, and there must be a reason why there's a stark difference now. So I've put them first because I think it's a priority area in terms of the service that they provide. The next organisation is Girls Inc. This organisation, the website clearly has dedicated people to update it, and just generally it is very, very impressive. It's also very inspiring. So, Girls Inc. Girls Inc. Incorporated inspires all girls to be strong, smart and bold through direct service and advocacy. In every section on this website of the various initiatives that this organisation does to assist girls, they're very much focused on measuring the impact, much like Archwell. And I've tried, as I've gone through putting the article together, I have put in bold the many areas of which there are measurements and how they determine whether or not something has been successful, which is on the website. I haven't by any means covered all the things on the website. It is very detailed. But as I said, as you go through it, in fact, I found myself within the first few minutes being really impressed and inspired as to the kind of initiatives that they have been able to do with people that use their services. So as a start, and as I say, this is still quite detailed, but it's, believe me, a very minute summary of what is on the website. In partnership with schools and at Girls Inc. centres, we focus on the development of the whole girl. She learns to value herself, take risks, and discover and develop her inherent strengths. The combination of long-lasting mentoring relationships, a pro-girl environment, and evidence-based programming equip girls to navigate gender, economic and social barriers and grow up healthy, educated and independent. Informed by girls and their families, we also advocate for legislation and policies to increase opportunities and rights for all girls. Girls Inc. is a national non-profit organisation in the United States that focuses on inspiring and empowering girls and young women. Their programme aims to equip girls with the knowledge, skills and confidence to succeed academically, navigate social and economic barriers, and lead fulfilling lives. Girls Inc. offers research-based programming in areas such as leadership development and STEM. And for those of you who may or may not know what STEM stands for, it's science, technology, engineering and mathematics. And I can say as a proud mom that one of my two daughters, one of them was a STEM ambassador, and both of them specialised in those areas of study that all encompass STEM. Girls Inc. also looks at education, financial literacy and health and wellness. The next section is what we do. There is a leadership programme and there is a strategic plan for 2021 to 2025. The link for that is in the reference sources at the end of the article. Leadership. National leadership is dedicated to assuring high-impact services for a growing number of girls and expansion of our advocacy efforts. We set bold goals and a clear strategic direction in partnership with local leadership across the country that implement their programmes at the local level. Their impact can be seen in the number of girls reached, the educational and personal development outcomes achieved, and the long-term effects on girls' lives as they grow into successful women. A new generation of leaders. The Girls Inc. experience has positive and lasting effects for girls who participate. Watch how we are building a new generation of leaders. In the article, I have put a link to one of many YouTube videos about this organisation and the work that they do with girls and women. There are articles and videos all about, well, a range of things, but there is a number of them. There are a number of them around impact stories. And it's, well, truly impressive. All of them, it's about what has happened as a result of their educational programs where they have led. And they have divided up on the website, and it's in the article, some of the sections that they cover. So there is a very, very detailed section, lots of personal stories from the alumni, people who have come into the Girls Inc. environment at a variety of ages and who have now passed through and are doing wonderful things in the world. And they have given their stories of their experience of going through that process and what they're all doing now. And you can probably gather from my voice, even before I got to this stage, I was impressed, certainly inspired. And when you read and hear on the videos, but there's also articles as well, when you read through their experiences and their positive views about the organisation and how it has helped them achieve what they're doing now. And many of them, in fact the majority of them that are shown, are doing similar work now as adults with women, girls and women coming through. So the sections in terms of where they have measured and have got data to go with it about the impact of their services are the alumni. There are a range of services around confidence and self-esteem, and it shows you the outcomes of those programs. Empowerment and leadership, same thing, gives you details of the program and the measures of the results of those. Girls in STEM, which was said already, science, technology, engineering and mathematics. There are quite a lot of testimony from girls that have gone through that process and their thoughts about it beforehand and what their views are now. Much more information in the accompanying article and even more on the Girls Inc. website itself. There is a slide showing one of the alumni contributors and a picture of a young lady. You'll read all of that and see it for yourselves, but just a statement that I put on the slide. With the support I have received at Girls Inc., I now feel like there isn't anything I cannot do. On the website it's got the Girls Inc. experience works. We don't think it, we know it. The Girls Inc. experience has positive and lasting effects for the girls who participate. Find all the latest research here attesting to the success and strides of our programming and our girls. The organisation has also ensured that in terms of measurement of outcomes, they have involved external organisations to independently come in and assess. Again, gives you an idea of the impact, the power of what they're doing, and that there are people from outside coming in and making these assessments. So here are some coming up. The impact of Girls Inc. on academic and behavioural outcomes from the American Institutes for Research. In a rigorous comparison study, we found that girls who participate in the Girls Inc. experience demonstrated improved academic performance, school-related behaviours, physical activity and leadership outcomes. And that quote is from Dr. Deborah Maroney, Managing Director of the American Institutes for Research. Another quote from the AIR research team. Girls participating in Girls Inc. were more likely to engage in activities and express beliefs that lead to physical and mental well-being, academic achievement, and the development of leadership skills. They had consistently higher math test scores than the comparison group of girls, and Girls Inc. girls reported more positive attitudes and behaviours than the comparison group. And that is from Dr. Alison Dimnicki and Melissa Wyzak of the AIR research team. This study documents the way in which girls are benefiting from the Girls Inc. programming, the ultimate intent to show what difference a high-quality Girls Inc. experience makes in the lives of girls from 2017 to 2019. The American Institutes for Research implemented a quasi-experimental research study with 4 Girls Inc. affiliates and their school districts in small, medium and large communities that were reflective of the larger Girls Inc. network. The results are truly compelling, documenting with strong evidence that Girls Inc. changes the trajectory of girls' lives and sets them up for lifelong success. The results validate what we have known all along. Girls are innately powerful, and they are the strong, smart, and bold leaders our future needs. When girls are given the tools and opportunities to succeed, not only do they change their own circumstances, they also change the circumstances of others around them. They change the world. Across both years of the study, Girls Inc. showed significant advantage over their peers in 20 impact areas. Compared to their peers, Girls Inc. girls are significantly more likely to 1. Perform better on standardised maths tests. 2. Be more engaged in school. 3. Exhibit post-secondary readiness and confidence. 4. Think maths is fun. 5. Believe in their ability to do challenging maths. 6. Believe in their ability to do challenging reading. 7. Think science is fun. 8. Believe in their ability to do challenging science. 9. Get excited about science. 10. Are curious about science. 11. Enjoy games that teach science concepts. 12. Like to see how things are made. 13. Want to know more about science, computers or technology. 14. Want to have a computer or science job. 15. Exercise daily. 16. Play on sports teams. 17. Leadership. Exhibit strong leadership skills and see themselves as leaders. 18. Self-efficacy. Believe in their ability to contribute in their community. 19. Advocacy. Stand up for fairness and their own beliefs. 20. Adult partnership. Rely on positive relationships with adults. If you aren't already inspired by this organisation, and this has all happened since they became involved and had assistance in terms of funds from Archwell, Project Accelerate is another one of their initiatives. And this one, well, you won't be surprised when you hear what's happened with this project of theirs. Girls Inc. of 4 finalists were awarded $10 million to further pursue their project. The Equality Can't Wait Challenge, hosted by Pivotal Ventures, Mackenzie Scott and Dan Duett, and Charles and Lynn Schusterman, Family Philanthropies, called for bold ideas that would expand women's power and influence in the US by 2030. Girls Inc. Project Accelerate is a groundbreaking venture that partners and invests with Equality Can't Wait to ensure that workplace equality is achieved, not over centuries, but now. Building on Girls Inc. evidence-based programming, Project Accelerate addresses inequality in the workplace, particularly the absence of women of colour in positions of influence and leadership. The programme will accelerate young women's trajectories through college and career entry, leveraging partnerships with corporations and social impact organisations to ensure both their preparation and their access to positions of influence. Project Accelerate is a direct response to girls asking for support from a trusted source, Girls Inc., as they face transitions and situations that challenged even the best prepared. The Girls Inc. proposal was selected from 550 applications as one of 10 finalists that stood out as an innovative solution that enables more women, particularly Black, Indigenous and women of colour, to be in positions to make decisions, control resources and shape policies and perspectives in their homes, workplaces and communities. Proposals were evaluated during a 3-month process that included peer reviews, as well as a review by an expert panel of 130 leaders from sectors including philanthropy, media, entrepreneurship, finance and academia. Girls Inc. was one of 4 finalists awarded $10 million to pursue the proposed project. With this funding, Girls Inc. has the opportunity to advance real, equitable change for women and gender equality across the US by breaking down barriers, expanding opportunities, and changing systems. There is a section on the website and also in one of the YouTube videos where you will hear from a number of people about this latest huge success. And in the article, I've just put a little bit here. Hear from Simone, Girls Inc. of Greater Philadelphia and Southern New Jersey alumni. Expected outcomes include an increased number of young women graduating college, an increased network of influence for girls from historically marginalized groups, and job placement in high-paying positions of leadership. Equality Can't Wait is a visionary response to some of the most persistent and damaging issues preventing the emergence of a fair and equitable society. Girls Inc. is grateful to all involved in this unique opportunity, especially the challenge funders, for the structure, thought partnership, and support that have shaped this vision for Project Accelerate. Together, we can make a bold leap to an equitable future. In the article, I've just put a number of headings, and then I've put next to it each of these documents. The link to them is listed in the reference sources. So, to learn more about Project Accelerate, there is an executive summary in the list of resources. Girls Inc. Project Accelerate, Reimagining Workplace Equality, a prospectus presented to Equality Can't Wait. That is also listed in the reference sources as a separate link. Girls Inc. Project Accelerate, their press release when they were awarded this funding. The link to that is in the reference sources. I will just read, I've put it in the article of just a few lines. It's an extract from the press release, but the full press release, as I said, is listed. Girls Inc. Project Accelerate advances gender parity through a reimagining of workplace equality. The Equality Can't Wait Challenge is hosted by Melinda French Gates, Pivotal Ventures, among other donors leading the charge advancing equity. New York, July 29th, 2021. Today, Girls Inc., the national organisation that inspires all girls to be strong, smart and bold, announces a $10 million in funding as one of 4 awardees selected by the Equality Can't Wait Challenge to benefit its Project Accelerate programme. Project Accelerate aims to expand the power and influence of women in the United States by 2030. Included in the reference sources is also a link to Archwell's Impact Report 2020 to 2022. It is a 24-page document from memory, and I've just put a summary of what that document is. As you would expect, everything that Harry and Meghan and their organisations that they're in partnership with, everything that they have done, every piece of work, every project, it talks about and gives you the details of the impact. Much like how you have just heard Girls Inc. operate. I don't know if they were that way before, but I just felt that the very fact that they were helped initially by Archwell, just look how they have flourished. There's no performative activity in any of these organisations, which I'll be covering over the next couple of months or so. None whatsoever. It's all about outcomes, and the results are there for everyone to see. To varying degrees, but they're all about what difference they have made, the impact. So Archwell's Impact Report. The report provides comprehensive information on the initiatives undertaken by the Foundation between 2020 and 2022, including investments in vaccine equity, global relief centres, refugee resettlement, and the care of various causes. Additionally, the report highlights the Foundation's financial accomplishments, such as raising $13 million and making grants totaling $3 million during its first full year of operations, 2021 to 2022. It is worth noting that this report is the Foundation's first impact report, showing statistics on its work since its inception in 2020. We were able to provide humanitarian aid in various forms to upwards of 10,000 individuals in Afghanistan and Pakistan. Most especially in the 4 months after receiving the grant, we supported all living expenses for approximately 1,000 at-risk Afghans living in safe houses that we operated in Pakistan and Afghanistan. And it's dated January the 29th, 2023. And to bring this particular podcast to a close, the closing remarks section. All the organisations that will feature in these podcasts are either in partnership with Archwell or have received funds from Archwell. Each one will receive an email from the channel to let them know when they will feature in a podcast and to ascertain whether they have any objections, and if not, do they wish to respond in any way. All on the list will receive a communication within the next month at the latest. I am sending a portion out each day, along with campaign emails and snail mail letters to various people and organisations around the globe. It is taking some time, but we are getting there. The volunteers will be active over the next few months, sending out correspondence and following up. We did get a response from Girls Inc. yesterday, as from while I'm recording this. It's a lovely response. You will see it, it's on one of the slides, and you will also see it in the article. Basically, it's a photograph of some of the girls with a heading, "With your support, girls are taking the lead." You know the challenges that girls face are increasingly urgent, especially girls of colour and girls from low-income communities. The need for support is critical, which is why we thank you for joining us with our commitment to girls and their leadership potential. Stay tuned as we bring you inspiring stories of girls and opportunities to advocate on their behalf, plus special events coming up, ways to make a difference, and more. You will help sustain the Girls Inc. mission to inspire all girls to be strong, smart, and bold. Thank you from Girls Inc. That came from their communications team. That's it for this week's podcast. Hopefully you found that interesting. I do believe when you look on the websites you will find, well, I know you will find even more, and I believe that you will find it interesting and inspiring. I suspect as I go through all of these organisations, some may require more promotion than others. That's people's choice. I'm not going to say which ones those are. I haven't gone through all of them yet, but I certainly can see from what I've done so far, there are some that may need a helping hand. That isn't what I will be putting on any kind of slide. That's for people to make up their mind. What I am doing is just hopefully proving, how organisations who have had any link with Archwell, or how they are performing now, and their approach, methodology, their style, the impact-driven element is clear with all of them. I certainly, in starting this in the last few weeks, I'm impressed. I hope you are too, and I hope that you found this first one of interest. As I said, I really just skimmed the surface of particularly one of the two. There are more details on their individual websites. There are quite a few slides, and I've taken some out because truly it would have been several slides. There's quite a few of them in the article, and there are, I think, about 4 or 5 YouTube links, but there are more links on YouTube about the organisations for you to look at your leisure. So this is it for this week. As per usual, I look forward to reading your comments over the coming days following the podcast. Hope you found it of use. So it's bye from me. Bye from Ivy. Bye.